Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. How's everybody doing? Welcome to a special special adjustment day for the Chicago Clubhouse Network presents the Midweek Bears Report. I'm Coach Chef Diab Muhammad, and we are on live on a Saturday afternoon. It's exactly 12:17. Um, the Bears are on a bye week. It is also college championship weekend, and we didn't have a show Thursday for some logistic issues, and we didn't have a show last Thursday because it was Thanksgiving. So we came saying, "Hey, we're gonna bring y'all some good content on a Saturday. I'm not at work, so we definitely doing it today. And unfortunately, we don't have our regular cast of characters. Unfortunately, there would be no amp, so that means no amped up segment. And unfortunately, there's no sugar and vodka, so there will unfortunately we will not have her segment. But I will be here with you. We're going to make this actually it's going to be a lot shorter show today. And we're going to have a guest who's a part of our Chicago Clubhouse Network. And without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring him on.
Yo, 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 what's up? How's it going, Chef? How's everyone going in the clubhouse,
What's up? What's up? What's up? So, for those who don't know, this is Crazy Ace. He was with us. He made a debut on this show, the Midweek Bears Report, on a Thursday night game versus the Panthers, our live viewing stream on, that was, what, 3 weeks ago? Yeah, that was right before the Detroit game.
Yeah.
He's back with us. We're going to bring him on as a guest, but he will be my co-host today, and we're going to talk everything Bears the past 2 weeks, what we've missed, what I've missed. For those of you tuned into the very last show we did, I was not a part of it. I was dealing with some personal legal issues. It's giving a lot of information without giving any information at all. So I was not available. Literally. I was literally not available. But we got that squared away. So,
Oh,
great.
man.
So,
What's up?
You think you're doing good. So, when we had you on for the live stream, I never got to ask you your Chicago Bears love story. I like to ask that of all the people who come on the show. Why are you a Bears fan? Where did you get your love from? And that's how we're going to kick today's show off before we get into the nitty gritty of the past 2 weeks versus at Detroit and then at Minnesota, and then break down the bye week, our expectations, all that good shit that we gonna get into. I personally, and the people who are viewing in, if you're viewing in with us, don't forget to like and subscribe. Chicago Clubhouse Network. Don't forget to like, subscribe to this particular show, the Midweek Bears Report, brought to you by Chicago Clubhouse Podcast Network. And yes, so with all that being said, Crazy, tell us, where did you get the love for our Chicago Bears?
So I'm originally from Chicago, born and bred.
Okay.
I would say I lived all over Chicago, but I'll claim Humboldt Park, right? I would say that's where I spent a good chunk of my life. You know what I'm saying? Northwest side. And it doesn't make no sense calling that because if you're from Chicago, I mean, I don't know. It's not as far north as you can go. But anyways, you know how it is. The later. But I would say like I always watched football when I was younger, but I don't think I actually got into like watching the Bears until I got into high school. I would say, and that's because I started playing football as well. So
Right.
I went to high school at Lane Tech High School. So
Okay.
from
I'm
2000.
familiar with Lane Tech.
Yeah.
Lane Tech is. Oh crap! I know where Lane Tech is.
You need some help?
Crap. Yeah, where is Lane Tech?
Addison and Western.
Okay. In fact, I through playing flag football in the community that I know T Nick from, and JB and Foulmouth, I see the I know the head coach at Lane Tech. I think he's the head coach. He is a former Division I wide receiver, if I'm not mistaken, and
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
He got them last year to their first playoff appearance in um,
In
not
a few
City League
years.
playoff, the ISSA Illinois
Yeah.
playoff. He got them to their first appearance in like more than a decade, I believe. What is his, oh my goodness, I can't remember the brother's name, but I know him from the flag football world, the competitive co-ed flag football world, and I've known him for over a decade. T. Nick knows him as well, but I do know he played at Boston College. He went to not Simeon. It might have
Is
been
it
Simeon,
Byron
but
Brown?
anyway, yeah.
Is that who it is?
Huh?
Byron Brown? Is that the coach right now? No, wrong
It
school.
is.
No, it's a different school. Don't worry about that.
Okay. So yeah, like you went to
But
Lane Tech.
anyways, yeah. So Lane Tech, and I think that's when I really like no bullshit, like just started following the Bears, watching the Bears, like looking at the newspaper. Social media wasn't a thing. You know what I'm saying? So like like you grabbing the paper every Monday,
Oh
Sunday,
yes, I'm sorry.
Tuesday.
I'm sorry. Diedrich DeWalt, yes,
Oh,
Diedrich,
Diedrich
yeah.
DeWalt. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So we're familiar with the head coach. He is a very very knowledgeable guy. Um, so shout out to Lane Tech. I don't know how they did this season, but I know last year was their first playoff appearance in the state playoffs, and like I said, more than a decade. It might have been almost 20 years. I'm not exactly sure, but I know it's been more than a decade. So without further ado, continue. You went to
Yeah.
Lane Tech.
So that's and I mean that's just I just been watching the Bears, whatever the case might be. So I mean, you know, um, I don't know. I've just loved the Bears ever since. Freaking good, bad, and indifferent.
Okay.
And yeah, so I was like like I've been in the army 20 years, so it's even harder trying to watch Bears games when you're overseas, either deployed or stationed overseas. Like, man,
Okay.
you got games like either 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, but
Right.
I
Different.
still go through all that, and I'm still gonna sit there and enjoy the Bears. I mean, at the end of the day, like regardless sometimes of how bad the Bears are, like I love good football. Like as much as I'm a Bears
Yeah.
fan, I am a sports fan. So like
Yeah. I'm
I
with
just love sports, man. Like football's one, baseball's two, basketball's three, and then
oh
and then everything this thing. Like
my
so
my 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 love for the sports have changed over time. It used to be I grew up, a basketball head, Bulls all day, and then when I realized that my physical ability was more suitable and more natural in football, football became my love. I would have to say maybe in grade school, almost middle school. I still had basketball as my number two. Baseball, I think baseball and basketball were tied because I played both of them. I played those growing up, and then once high school kind of started, and like after my freshman year of high school, I was kind of like, yeah, I think football's going to be my future. Basketball is just something I do because I do it, and then baseball because I play little league, whatever. But yeah, I'm very familiar with that. So you said 20 years, so I assume you're a fellow old head. When did you graduate high school?
2003.
Oh, so we graduated the same year. So we're
Yeah.
we're both just roughly the same age. Okay. Yeah. So I went to school in the South Suburbs. I went to Thornridge. I graduated '03 as well. So that's what's up. I knew you were in the middle you served, but I didn't know it was for 20 years. So that means you literally went out. What branch?
I'm in the army. Active duty
Oh,
army,
okay.
sergeant first class. Yeah, so
Okay.
E7.
Thank you for your
So those
service.
watching are familiar or not familiar. It's easier to say both.
Okay. Thank you for your service.
Appreciate it.
I have
Appreciate
some
it.
former classmates who were in the. Actually, most of my classmates were in the Navy. I got one who was in the Marines or Navy slash Marines, and then I have three ex classmates. Um, I have three former classmates who were in the Navy. In fact, I just went to my 20-year class reunion this summer,
So
and
did
one of the
I.
young ladies, she, she just retired from the Navy, and she went in right after high school. She knew a guy who I lived like across the alley from when I lived in Dalton. He's been in it. He's still in it. He's still in the Navy. He went in after high school as well. And then another guy I went to elementary school with. He's been in the Navy since high school. He graduated. Chris, I think he's got another promotion. Okay, let's get to it. So thank you for your Chicago Bears love story. Oh, one more thing. You play football. What you play in high school? What position?
Oh, so I played defensive back. I played strong safety and corner, and I was more suited towards strong safety than I was for
Okay.
corner. Um,
Okay. Physical. Physical.
yeah, I don't know. I just like being on the line and like hitting, man. I just what I'm saying versus trying to sit there and dude, I was fast as heck. I had like a freaking like 4.340 up in high school. And
Oh shit!
then
Oh,
I was a fat little foot, you know what I'm saying? But no, but then I broke my arm the championship game for sophomore year, and then junior year I played it out. I wasn't like mentally, I wasn't the same. And so then
right.
senior year I didn't play. But then when we did play though, like I said, we won the championship for freshman and sophomore year for the city. And then
Okay.
when I was on varsity my junior year, we ended up getting knocked out of the first round of the playoffs, then went into state, and then got knocked out of the semifinals by Dunbar. So,
Okay. All right. So
so
we've already got people in the chat. We're gonna go ahead and get into with some
yeah,
official
we should.
Bears. Sharif Thomas, the Bears are a much better team than the record suggests. I don't know. You are what your record is. I did listen to ESPN 1000 recently where Yerk says there are two games that the Bears should have won. The Detroit game and the Broncos game. If they
Denver
did win
game.
those, Denver. I'm sorry, Denver. You're right. I said Denver game. Detroit and Denver. So if they did win those games, they were at some point they were leading in both games. Of course, leading at both points of the game. They would be 6-6, which put them in contention for the playoffs. So that is true. But I'm sorry, just
So I think where that comment's coming from, though. So I'm looking at the comment of what just the comment itself, right? If you look at it, the Bears are a much better team than the record suggests. Talent wise, the Bears are freaking like they have so much. They have a lot of talent on the freaking team,
they have much more talent than
and
they did
so
last.
like their record should be better than what it is, and that's how I look at that comment. Now
Okay.
we agree though, like they are what they are though, right?
Yeah,
Like
they are.
at the end of the
Exactly.
day, they've gotten outcoached like majority of
Numerous.
all these games. There's
Yeah.
no ifs, ands, or
And
buts about it.
definitely outplayed in a lot of games. Not all the whole year, but I know the defense finally caught up. I've been telling people the whole year that I thought the defense wouldn't gel into week 5. They did technically gel roughly around week 5, but they haven't been putting in work since week. They've been putting in work since week 6. Week 6, if I can go back in my notes, week 6 was the first time they played the Vikings. So they
Yep.
played the Commanders. They played the Commanders week 5, but they gave up 300 to Sam Howell, even though they shut the run down. But they were Washington was behind, so Sam Howell threw for 300 yards. I don't think they've allowed a 300-yard passer since. So thinking they haven't played a whole lot of quarterback talent besides Justin Herbert with the Chargers. So this is what we'll do. Since we're already in it, I have to move some things around. So we'll backtrack real fast. We'll synopsisize the Detroit game. So we all know the Bears were winning. The Detroit game, they were
Yep.
in command. They caused 3 interceptions from Jared Goff. They were up until they were up 13 with roughly just under 4 minutes left in the game, and then Detroit does a Detroit, which is not what they used to do when we say they Detroited. They did a current Bears Detroit. I mean,
Yeah.
the current Detroit where they scored a bunch of points because they are top 5 in the league in points scored. They came back. The defense played a lot of very conservative coverage, and we just didn't make plays of miscommunication for the first touchdown that got the game close, and then they just drove down for the touchdown to put the game away. And then with about 20 seconds left, Gabe, our right tackle, the rookie, who was playing really well, he just got outperformed by a guy who essentially has all-pro potential in Hutchinson for a strip sack that ended up being a safety. So what were your thoughts on the Detroit game? That was Justin's first game back from missing 4 games with a dislocated thumb. What were your thoughts from beginning to end for the game, about the game?
So, like, one, I was happy to see that we were finally moving the freaking pocket.
Yeah.
Like, that is what Justin does well. I get it that you want your quarterback not to always be on the move, right? But move the pocket, let her be comfortable. And then they were also utilizing his leg, that they do a little bit more of QB runs that I would have liked. Yes, I don't know why we're doing QB runs up the middle, but okay, whatever. but no, but they were
dislocated thumb, so
yeah. But they were doing stuff to his strengths though.
Exactly.
I was surprised, honestly, that like we were winning, that we were in the game, that we were controlling. I mean, dude, this is the first time I think in the Super Bowl era there was a stats that like a team lost after having the
Yeah,
ball over 40 minutes.
yeah. So the stat goes something to the effect of teams that have a +3 turnover differential and control the ball for 40 minutes. Mind you, um, there's only 60 minutes in the NFL game. So they control the game for 40 minutes of time control to lose. I think the record was like 40. It was in the 40s. Teams are 40 something and 0. But of course, let this current iteration of our Bears be the one loss, which is ridiculous. Oh, Texas has scored again. So yeah, that oh my goodness. What else do you have? What else do you have? What else you
Um,
got
Let
about
me see
about
the defensive freaking holdout, whatever the case might be. I still think that just I don't know what Luke Getsy's thinking, man. Like we go, things work, and then instead of adapting, instead of just trying to change to what the defense is getting you, he's still like on what he like on his game plan. Things are meant to be adjusted. Like this is the game. But
I, I I mean, criticism is warranted. Everyone said this, whether it's professional or us regular Joes. The first scripted plays are typically his first drives are really good, but the not even the adjustment, it's the counter adjustment to the adjustment. So once the
yep.
defense to the coordinator or defense adjusts, he adjusts slightly, and then when they ramp it up, like okay, well, now we know what they're doing. He doesn't adjust at all. Like they continue to have the exact game plan. We'll get into the Minnesota game, which was completely frustrating. But with the Detroit game, it's like they stopped being aggressive. You Justin just put us up with I think the touchdown that put us up big was the big throw to DJ on a wonderful ball, an NFL throw. Not that it was some spectacular throw that he's not in his capability, but it was a damn good ball. It
Yep.
was 1-on-1. There was no free safety help. He threw the ball right here in stride. That's the Justin Field that we want to see. No, Justin didn't go for 200 yards, but there wasn't a lot of attempts in that game or completions, and he still was averaging much more per yardage completion than he
I
did
mean, you didn't
eventually.
need to though. The ground game was
You're right.
working. I mean, being real with you. So then again, why do
Exactly.
we go against the ground game? And then I would say this. So two things. One, before I get to the Darnell Wright play, um, I get trying to play the clock, but
Right.
play the clock to win.
To win,
Don't
not
play the clock just to freaking
to
kill the
survive.
game. Yeah.
It's
They were playing to lose at that. They were playing not to
yeah.
lose versus playing
The
to
last
win.
two drives,
And there is a
last
big
two drives were
difference
awful.
in the way you phrase that. So that
I
was the most frustrating thing. And I put it in our chat when we were talking, and then other chats. I was like, "Yo, the Bears at like X amount of minutes are playing not to lose. We're gonna end up losing this game."
you can tell just the pacing. Not even the pacing because you're trying to kill clock, but the call selection was like, so we not trying to get no first down.
Yeah.
So are we trying? It's like they were literally saying, okay, we're going to settle. Essentially, it felt like Getsy, maybe Eberflus, but definitely in Getsy's play calling, we're going to settle for field goals because them third down calls were not aggressive. Those second down calls were not aggressive. They weren't even mid. They were very, very conservative.
Yep.
And then you do get, of course, the play to Tyler Scott where he misjudged it and slowed down on the route. I can't even say you can't. He's a rookie. You can't leave it up to him. He's a professional, and he's won. But he's right now. He's our only current legit vertical threat. No, DJ Moore is our deep threat. He's called deep passes. But Tyler Scott, that's his that's his position on. That's what he brings to this offense. He brings the vertical threat, and he slows down. I don't know how he misread it. I mean, it's possible. You think it's going to be short. You don't think it's coming. I don't know. All I know is
Did
I saw it. I watched the game. I was at work. And I watched it. I'm like, did he slow down? I was like, did Justin underthrow him? But then when he started to rev it back up, I was like, holy shit, he's gonna miss him. And it was right out the grasp of his hand. And I was just like, at that moment, I okay. So I had missed the pregame. I missed the midweek report prior to the Detroit game.
Yep.
In fact, I missed it because of my personal issue away from here, and I didn't get my prediction on our group chat or anything, or even on our page. Like and subscribe. Don't forget to like, subscribe on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. I didn't get my prediction, but I was like, they're going to lose. I didn't know why. I just was like, the Bears are not going to win this game. I didn't think it was going to be a blowout. Actually, I think my prediction would have been roughly something of like 34-24. Like, it would have been close, but the Lions would have put it away. So when they got up, I was like, holy shit. And then something in me, and I wasn't trying to be negative. I was just like, when they got up 13, I'm like, they're going to lose. And I'm at work and I'm cooking and I'm doing my thing, prepping up for dinner because the game came on at noon. I'm in the middle of prepping for dinner. The game roughly ends at 3-ish, about 3. Dinner doesn't officially start till 4. So at 3, it's like 2, whatever time it was in the fourth quarter, I was just like, something internally, my gut, I was just like, they're going to lose this game. And then when he missed the first field goal, when they got up, when they settled for the second field goal or whatever, and then when they needed the first down because it was like 3rd and long, and then he underthrew it. I was like, oh no, they got the field goal. The Lions went down and scored, and then they came back because they went up by 5, I believe.
Yeah. And
then when he I can't even say he overthrew him. Scott slowed down. I was like, oh no, they're definitely losing. Like when they missed that shot to Scott, I was like, no, they're losing this game most definitely. So when they went down and scored again, I wasn't shocked. I wasn't even mad. I was just like, no, I knew this was going to happen because the play calling was befuddling. It befuddled me, and I'm sure it befuddled many Bears fans, including yourself. I just couldn't. I was like, I just want to hear the excuse. I want to hear why you played. I don't want to use this term. The play calling was so
conservative.
Yeah, we'll just go with the politically. I'll just go conservative. I want to say another word that we grew up using in football terms. You're calling the game like a blank, but yes, conservative. And I just knew it. I was just like, and then it was 20 seconds, and I was just like, I had an inkling of hope. And Justin, at the time before the Minnesota game, he had only had, I think, 3 or 4 comeback wins. So I'm like, the Bears ain't about to drive down and get a field goal in 20 seconds. And I was like, they might get close, but he might throw a pick because he's done that. Or something else might happen. And the first play, I see Hutchinson, well, we all see it, but it's like I focused in. Because I was like, is Hutchinson all right? But then Hutchinson got a great jump. And soon as he beat him, I was like, soon as he beat him, I was like, Justin doesn't even sense it because Wright had been playing so well, and people after the game were like, "Oh, Justin has lack of field awareness." I'm like, bro, he beat him so fucking fast.
Yeah, like, he had a good jump. There's no ifs, ands, or buts, bro.
If you go back and watch the Detroit game, for those who recorded it, if you really go back and watch that, no one beat a lineman that fast for Detroit the entire game. Hutchinson beat Wright so fast. Justin hadn't even got to the peak. He just barely got to the peak of his drop. So when the strip sack happened, he literally had just settled into his drop to pick the ball up, and before he picks the ball up, it's gone. I was like, yo, he beat him so. But I was like, bro, he beat him fast as shit. Like I wasn't mad at Justin, but I was like, bro, they about to be like, oh, Justin fumbles, and I'm like, bro, I don't think no quarterback would have survived it. They might not have fumbled, but they were going to get sacked. He beat him so fast. It to me, I was like, I don't think it was nothing you could do about it. He beat, and he was kind of quiet the whole game. I thought. Those were my thoughts. Like, he
was. I think what needed to happen though is like I get that Wright was protecting him the whole game. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong. And Hutchinson just came off there. What I will say though is that you gotta expect the blitz though. At that time. And I'm saying no matter what would have happened, no matter what quarter, you got to be able to expect hey, there's a chance with 20 seconds left, they just might blitz, whatever the case might be. You just got to prepare yourself for that, man.
Yeah, it was.
And I know it was his backside, I get it, but it was his front side, but he wasn't looking that direction. He was looking to throw the ball onto the left. Yeah.
bro. I looked at it, the jump he got before he even contacted to beat right. I was like, yo, Hutchinson he about to get sacked. Soon as the ball was hiked, I'm like, Justin's about to get sacked. And I was just like, well, maybe. And then he beat him. So I saw the jump, split second, because, they only take split second in the NFL. He beat him, and I was like, oh, my goodness. And then he strip sacked it. I was like, oh, he getting sacked. And then he strip sacked it. I was like, oh, yeah, it's over. And he kicked it out the back of the end zone. So, yeah, me and you had the exact same thoughts. I don't think any Bear fan, even 2 weeks out now, has had any different thoughts. Of course, people are still blaming Getsy for his conservative play calling, definitely blaming the defense for playing amazingly. And then that's play calling on the head coach, who the defense had been playing outstanding. Three turnovers.
Yeah, no, hands down.
We can go back and blame.
There we go. That's better.
Jalen Johnson for a pick six he didn't get, which led. It's a twisted thing in football. I don't know if you ever recognize this. So I used to have this thing. It doesn't happen all the time, but I believe that whenever you miss a pick six or opportunity for a pick, like a clean pick, the next play is always either a big play or a touchdown.
I sensed that too. As soon as he didn't get that interception at the end zone like that, and I was just like, oh my gosh, they're gonna score right now.
The next play will be big. Yeah, right. Okay, so we have to say.
No, I was the same thing.
I've had that happen in the game. I've had it. Was it 11? So I've played a lot of football in my life, but I think I was playing. The last one I can vividly remember was this had to be more than 10 years ago. I'm playing in, which is it's a different league now, but I'm playing in a competitive flag football league in the city, and we're down to the wire versus this team, and we're there in the red zone, and I'm playing corner, and everyone's 7-on-7, so everybody's damn near a corner. But a guy runs like a deep crosser all the way across the field, and I'm trailing him, and I'm on his hip. And the quarterback throws the ball, and I jump it, and I'm like, yo, I'm about to house this shit. So I grab it, and the guy plays great defense. He kind of yanks at my hand, and I ended up the ball ends up being complete. But I had a pick ends the game. A pick ends the game. Either I run it back or we play the clock out and we win the game. The very next play, he beats me for a touchdown. The very next play. No, he didn't beat me. The next play was a touchdown. I know that to be fact. And that I was just like, why does it always seem like that? And it happens like that a lot of times in football. Like the pick six you need or the big pick you need at a certain time, the next play is always a key first down, a deep threat, a broken tackle for open run, or a touchdown. And people were like, oh, well, Jalen wants to get paid. I'm like, yes, you want him to pick that. But I will say, well, the ball was not completed, so he did his job. But maybe that's me being biased because I think Jalen Johnson is a legit top 10 corner. I don't think he deserves top 5 money. I do think that we'll get into that a little later. I do think that he'll be paid within the top 12 corners of the league, most likely between whatever slots we'll get into, like I said. But yeah,
for sure.
But that play earlier in the second half, that definitely puts the game even more out of reach. Even if they play conservatively, instead of 13 points, they're down by 20 because that's a 6-point play plus the extra point. Instead of being down 13, we're down by 20, or we're up by 20, I should say. So yeah, but those goes back to those things like even if you believe like in the whole game that there's 40 to 70 NFL plays in the game, people say that there's five major plays throughout the game that dictate how the game's going to go. And I'm kind of in that track of believing. But yeah, that non-pick six by Jalen definitely was something that could have securely put the game away earlier. So even if Getsy went conservative, which he did, then that gives us more of a buffer. But
if you go to play before that, though, before that interception, though, when you had Edmonds, who didn't get that tackle, that allowed St. Brown to get that first down. Like, dude, I'll be honest with you, Edmonds did a good job versus Minnesota, but I haven't been a big fan of him the entire season. I feel like he's over pursued. He hasn't wrapped up like he's supposed to. I know that he is a coverage linebacker, right? And I'm gonna say this in quotations, but bro, you are a linebacker. Bro, you were supposed to freaking, you know what I'm saying?
That the knock has always been, if you look at the Pro Football Focus grades, he's clearly always been better in pass coverage than stopping the run. But you paid him 18 mil. you paid him. That was a criticism, and frankly, he has been getting outplayed by Edwards. And although I started last season being a huge Jack Sanborn fan, but just I've been through this
I don't like this
before. Just like the love he gets, like he's the next big thing, has bothered me, especially after the Roquan trade. But Sanborn has a knack in the league. He's a tough, hard nosed guy, but I'm sorry, he's just not the athlete that Edmonds is. So yes, Jack Sanborn only plays about 20% of the defensive snaps because he's just not as good. I don't think it's a money thing. Some people will say he's outplayed, but if he's only on the field for 20% of plays, and then when you do see him in 20% of the plays, he's making a tackle here or there. Of course, he stands out. He's on the field limited, so the few limited plays he makes.
Yeah, it's like when you see Dexter or Pickens in the game. Same thing. Like you see flashes of them, you're like, oh snap, damn, look at it. You know, it's the same thing.
And I think his snaps have been going up steadily. But then again, we had a Justin Jones sighting in the Minnesota game we'll get to. So yeah, just to cap our thoughts, I don't think our thoughts differ about Detroit. I think that even Eberflus took full responsibility about calling too conservative, even on his part, too conservative plays. Here's the thing that fans always say is, or even commentators are like, if you if you play prevent defense, all you're doing is preventing yourself from winning. Check this out. Everyone does it, unless you're like a pro.
People just execute better. That's really it.
You have to execute, because typically when teams you're not going to play man to man when you're up by 13. You're going to play some type of cover 3 or cover 4. You just have to execute and make the plays in front of you. That's what the defense has been on. I've called defenses only at the high school level. I played football. Like, unless you're like a team that blitzes 80% of the time, or you're the Minnesota Vikings, I guess, you're going to play a shell or some type of umbrella coverage because you want to keep shit in front of you. Because even if you're playing man, you're talking about broken coverages in zone. It only takes one time for somebody to slip or miss a bump in man-to-man, and that's 6'2". So
but it's just a zone. It's just a zone. It's just a zone that we play. We play a real soft zone, man. And I get it, and I understand why we play a soft zone. I understand the bend don't break mentality, whatever the case might be. But we play like, compared to some of the other defenses in the league, man, they play zone just as much. You know what I'm saying? They play a lot tighter. But I also feel like they're able to do that, though. Why? Because of the front four, though. Yep. And now they're starting to pick up. And look what's happening now. Defensive backs are being positioned to make play, whether it tip balls, incomplete passes, interceptions. We saw that during Minnesota. And granted, I like Dobbs. Little Cinderella story for the last 2 weeks. I think Dobbs is a decent quarterback the whole season, though. Like, Arizona's record 1-7 is not indicative of how Dobbs has played.
People don't know that. If you have to really know football to understand. Yes, he was 1-7 as a starter. Go look at his numbers and look at the offense when he was there. It was not because of his bad performance. That was the worst performance of his season.
Yeah.
The Bears were just on it. They were on it from the get-go, pass rush, coverage. They were just on it all fucking day. Like I said, we'll get to that. So just a synopsis. That's our thoughts on the Detroit game. Well, you know what? Since you're on the show this week, and we're doing it. My little terrorist is downstairs. Since it's kind of fresh in your mind, can you give me your personal grade for offense, defense, and coaching in the Detroit
game? Offense, I would have to. Honestly, it was like an A up until like the fourth quarter, man. So, I would say A- B+, you know what I'm saying, on the offense, up until literally like towards the end of the game. Defense, I would say that they played well. I'd probably give them like a B+, and I can't say an A, and that's probably a little bit better than they probably should get, especially with the fourth quarter as well, right? Because they haven't played all fourth quarters yet.
Yeah. Pass rush was kind of non-existent in the fourth quarter.
Yes, but the only reason the only reason why I say I would give it like just a solid B, no plus nor minus, just because they held Detroit. We weren't expected to win that game at all, and then we found ourselves in the game.
Yeah.
Yep. And then for special teams, I mean, I think special teams has been like the on. Coaching, my bad. And coaching, dude, man, I still have to go with a C, dude. And only because the reason why I lowered them 2 at the end was just because, again, like, dude, you gotta adjust, you gotta adapt. You gotta give what the defense is giving you. You can't keep trying to force, you know what I'm saying, what you think is gonna work. I'm just sorry, like that's just me.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. I gave the offense and Justin coming back. I gave him a B. No, I'm with you. Even at the end, just the offense in general. I don't think there was a lot of missed chances besides the adjustment. I don't think, to me, there wasn't a lot of bad offense that game. I think everything that the Lions gave them, they took essentially until the play calling changed.
Yeah,
I'm going to give the offense. I'm going to give them an A. They ran the ball. We threw the ball when we wanted to. The defense, even including the adjustments with the turnovers and everything, how they played, I'm going to give them a B plus. And then coaching, I'm going to give a C, just because it fell off. Like if they would have won that game, I probably would have gave coaching like a B plus. So that's our thoughts on the Lions game. We're going to go right into the Minnesota game, which just happened Monday night. It's Saturday, so it's almost been a week. But hey, midweek, and then we had some adjustments. So Minnesota game, it was
exciting until it wasn't exciting.
Or vice versa. It wasn't exciting until it was exciting.
It was exciting, yeah.
Right. So, Minnesota, your thoughts on the Minnesota game?
Hey, real quick, before we do, since we hit grades, you see, Amp is in the YouTube chat, right? And Amp's like, offense B, defense A, coaching F. And you already know they've lost the locker room. You know, I'm gonna do this just for Amp right there.
Yeah, he is big on Eberflus not having a locker room.
You know what though? Hey, okay, so we're on the Minnesota game. I would have loved to see. All right, hopefully next week you hit on it. That picture where old boy was on the phone in the locker room while Coach Flus is giving his speech. That would have been perfect for Amp to be amped up. You see this?
Yeah.
Oh, wrong game? Oh.
I can't. No, you're good. I was looking at comments we missed. So, easy comment. Let's go Cardinals and Patriots. I'm assuming because he wants the number 1 pick.
Yeah.
Then his grade. Oh, the Detroit game, you gave defense an A. Wow, that's a shocker. Because but coaching is why they didn't. I guess but they didn't execute, because even the touchdown to Reynolds, I think, was a broken coverage because of miscommunication between Eddie Jackson and the corner. No, it was Jalen Johnson and Eddie, because Eddie dropped. He loosens the coverage for the cover 2 to take away the flat, and Eddie's just late. He's late as hell. I don't know if he was trying to cover up something. He just didn't get back. There. So I know you broke that play down for us. Jeff, can't say that. Jay Bryan, I'm voluntarily giving out. Nope, not listening to that. I don't know what that sounds like. Spam.
That is spam.
I was like, what? Giving a what? 5 blank? So yeah, Minnesota game. They won. Football, no matter what, you want to get the win, but we had a problem play calling. Yes, Justin did have the 2 fumbles, but you played like this. It goes back to the adjustment. The team, we know that the defense and the defensive coordinator for the Vikings, he blitzes. He sends blitzes. But you have film on him, because you have a half a season worth of film. Then you have the last game that you coached against him to come up with more clever things than throwing screens the entire game. So before I get your true thoughts, this is one thing that has been bugging me about the whole game. I've only coached at the high school level. but I know this being coached at the high school and coach level by coaches and playing offense is you run screens, you run all those damn screens, and the play that you work on is we're going to run all these screens. We're going to set up in the fourth quarter to fake the screen and throw the sideline go route. And it never fucking came. Like, not one pump fake to a screen to a vertical guy, not a fake screen one side like a double screen. Like, no creativity in the screen game. The same stale ass screen. Yes, Tunyon missed a big block. I don't know why the hell you have Mooney blocking for fucking Tunyon. That's the dumbest shit ever. Equanimous St. Brown, our best blocking receiver.
Scott blocking for Komet. First screen pass of the game.
Yo, I go out. They called the first one. Was like, you saw the screenplay to the sideline for Komet, the first screen. That's what you steamed up for the first play of the game? How much did you think you were going to get on that play? You might as well, I'm sorry. The first half went smoother, but that being the first call you called was kind of like, you could have ran the ball for that yardage. So there was no creativity with the screen game, obviously. Offense did not. And it's just like, I just figured you should have been more prepared for the blitzing. Like hands down. There's percentages. Like the NFL teams have like 30-something coaches. You don't have one defensive analyst who broke down the first game they played in Chicago where he's like, okay, they blitzed from this side. So what about our other hot routes? What about more out routes or more slants or keeping more guys in and running? Like if you're blitzing, they blitz 7 a couple times. So that means if you're blitzing 7, if you have a lineman and a tight end in the back, that's 7 on 7. That gives you at least a millisecond more. Beat the coverage. They're playing man. Like, throw the ball up.
Yeah.
Like,
hands down, man.
It just the play calling was
atrocious.
It was so lackluster. It lacked more imagination than the fucking Detroit game.
So what's weird is the craziest thing is like when you hear the explanation after the Minnesota game of why they were running the screen, because dude, like the players themselves were happy. They're like, yo, we executed the game plan, we won, whatever the case might be. So I get the point. Oh, and I think you made a point of it, like when we were talking offline up in the chat, was like, we understand that you set up the screen game for the deeper pass, yes. But then just nothing came out of it. There's no fruition out of it. Like, and if you notice a couple of those screen passes, a couple of those screens where the Bears actually got a couple yards from it, Minnesota played off the screen because they were expecting something to be played off the screen. If you think about it, because bro, and then because and then some of them they cheated their corners.
They run 7 screens in the first half. Yeah, they run 7 screens in the first half. As a defensive back coach or the defensive coordinator, I'm like, look, they've thrown this many screens in the first half. We're expecting them to fake the screen. But then later on, it's kind of like, well, they're not running anything vertical. Guess we'll just start playing more aggressive and taking the goddamn screen away.
Yeah. Because they were trying to bubble, and then they were still like, oh, snap. Nothing's happening? Okay.
Even the type of screens are weird. Like, they're literally one step. Like, it's so weird.
It's not even a full bubble screen. It's not even a full screen either. Because normally you would build it off of trips. You would send a running back or a tight end in motion. So you put that many people on that side of the field to block. But we can't even do that properly.
Yeah, you can't. There's so many variations of the screen. You can run a 2-man screen. You can run a 3-by-1 screen or a trips with a tight end backside. You can motion into a screen. The screens are so non-imaginative. They have no creativity within it's like his playbook has to be massive. Where's the variation of the screen? So say you run a screen to the sideline, but then you run a bubble screen where you come into the inside like a tunnel screen. I mean, well, no, they got like 1 or 2 of those maybe. But it's like the variation of the screen game still, even that seems, just seems lackluster. Yes, they won. That's what Amp said because he's tuning in right now. But yes, we won the game. But the biggest takeaway I could take away, Yes, Justin had 2 fumbles. It was just play calling offensively. The defense played amazing. Yes, Jalen had a pick, but then he technically I would say he missed. He could have had 3, and that's
Yeah.
what's going to differentiate Jalen. Like, just think. We'll get into a little offseason talk, but just think if Jalen has 4 picks in 2 games and 3 of them are pick sixes, no matter what has happened his previous years, he's like, no, I want top 2 money. If you have 4 picks and 3 pick sixes, or shoot, let's say 4 picks and 2 pick sixes, Jalen goes into negotiations saying, no, I don't want top 10 money. I want top 3 money right now. And he would have, theoretically, he would have room for grounds because he's played. He's done it.
Even if he doesn't get his top 3 money for a long-term contract, if the Bears franchise tag him, he's gonna get top 3 money because of what the projected 2024 franchise tag is for cornerbacks. So, like, at the end of the day, like, Jalen's gonna get his money, and if he doesn't get franchise tag, chances are he won't be here for the year after that, unless they make a playoff run, and then they'll renegotiate. Then, why we put that up?
Okay, that's that same
spam one,
little spam.
But yeah, but that's. I mean, at the end of the day, do I think Jalen is one of the top corners? And I mean, when I say top, I'm not saying a specific number. I'm just saying he is one of the top corners in the league, right? I think that. Do I feel that he deserves 20 mil a year? No. I think that, like, while I think interceptions played a key role in that, I will say that, like, hey, you are seeing him more with the. I know I saw that question too. You are seeing more though of the aggressiveness of him, like, blocking the passes or incomplete passes, because now teams are, dude. I will say this with this defense though, teams are struggling now, and now, like, you are seeing Jalen Johnson more name being called because teams are like, yo, we got to try to force this ball one way or another, like,
because we're getting past.
Yeah, like, I will say this: as much as I like Tarek Stevenson, bro, like, Terrell Smith showed out.
He did. He played well. He did play. He played very well.
And that's the difference between them two. Their play style. It was their play styles that's different to me, though. Is why Smith stood out more than Stevenson did. Stevenson's more an aggressive corner. He's going to be on you. So he either gets burned or he gets flagged. One of the two. Yeah. Smith is a little bit. I don't want to say conservative, but he's more a fundamental cornerback, I would say.
I can relate to that. I do my job.
Yup. I'm not going to let you burn me. I'm not going to let you get behind me. You know what I'm saying? And if the opportunity presents itself,
catch the ball, but I'm going to tackle you.
Right. Like, he was a fundamental quarterback play, and I like that though.
Yeah. I mean, you need the variation of that in your secondary room. Also, because he's coming back from mono, although this is the second Bears player who's had mono in 2 years. Like, it's mono's like some you get in college, the kissing disease. Why are NFL players on the NFL roster getting mono?
I don't know. Maybe equipment's not being clean, sanitized. I don't know, bro. Don't have me lie. But maybe just sharing way too many glasses. I don't know. Like,
I don't have enough glasses. We got to share cups.
But I think it was more. I think it was more than him, but they didn't say it. You know, they just said personal reasons because a couple people were out for a few weeks and they didn't say specific reasons why. I'm just saying that's just me. No, I know he was, but either way.
Yeah.
But
and then last year his brother would, but
yeah.
But
so
he is a consummate. He's kind of the safe corner. And
Frank, what's up?
You need those guys sometimes. You need the guy who's not going to take crazy chances unless he's going to make the play that needs to be made. He's not probably going to make an outstanding, Stevenson play or a younger Eddie Jackson breaking on the ball, even though that's safety, but still, I mean, you're still a DB. But yeah, he's going to be there. He's going to be in tight coverage. He hasn't gotten beat even when he was healthier early in the year, unless it was kind of his just being a rookie and inexperienced. But he's always clearly in the picture frame, whether it's an incomplete pass or a completed pass. He's always in the picture frame. He's a very solid tackler. I can relate to that because when I played DB, I was the safe DB. I didn't have great recovery speed as a corner, so I played a lot of tight coverage. But I didn't I didn't take a lot of chances. Like I didn't jump a lot of passes unless the ball was just poorly thrown
Yeah.
or something like that. I can relate to that personally. Being a corner on kind of just say,
Hey, I
I'm
love
playing cover
defense,
two. I'm
man.
going to get my flat. Yeah. So
I'm probably more critical of DBs like in general because one of my other homeboys I'm really close with. Like, dude, when there's like a bad play, we're like, what the heck? Like that one Gordon. Oh, going back to the Detroit game real quick. The one where what was it? Was it St. Brown where he made Gordon like look left and then he went right to catch that touchdown after the Gordon missed interception? That play, I think it was Gordon.
yeah.
And dude, he made Gordon like turn his whole hips. I'm like, bro, like that's DB1 number one, bro. Like you can't be doing that. But anyway, right? I know, but either way, but all right. Hey, so let's get to the chat real quick, right? So on the chat, right quick, Amp, he said twice. He's like, "Is that locker room lost?" And if Amp was here right now, he'd be like, you know what I'm saying, cursing up the storm, amped up.
Hey,
I don't think so. Look, I'll be honest with you.
I keep telling Amp.
He hasn't. The locker room's not lost. Is there certain players? Is there certain players who probably don't believe in what Flus is probably preaching or trying to go with now? Maybe. Right? I don't think he's lost his locker room. Nope.
He's the head coach of the team, but he sure ain't lost that defensive side of the ball because them boys is balling.
No.
And he's calling
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think he's lost it. Now, I can't speak
Amp equals Samuel Jackson.
No. Say what
I believe it. I believe it.
Locker room? Listen to the words coming out of my mouth. He lost the locker room. My little baby mocking me now.
But I get where that's coming from though. And you know, I think I will say this. I think if they didn't win the Minnesota game, I think that question would have a lot more meaning and depth behind it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But the fact that they played Detroit so close that again we weren't expected to win. I think that's why the Detroit game hurts more and it stung. Yeah. Because we weren't supposed to win it, and then we looked like we were about to win, and we didn't.
We were 13 with less than 5 minutes.
Say what again? Say what again? I dare you. I double dare you, motherfucker. Say what one more goddamn time.
And that's why with the Minnesota game, like I said, and then defense held out. Offense is what it is. I will say that I am thankful that DJ Moore is on this Bears roster.
Yo,
because
he's a dude.
Dude, DJ Moore even said it. He went up to run his route and he noticed that there was no one in the middle of the field. So he went and he ran. And you know what that offensive line did? Held out enough for Justin to get out the freaking ball and got it for DJ Moore. I just wish when Moore caught that ball, I just wish he would have just ran straight north and south. You know what I'm saying? I get it.
On 4th and 10 to get 30 yards. That was only of 2 plays where the ball traveled more than 10, 15 yards downfield. We all know that Justin missed Mooney on he was throwing against his arm. He was running to his left. It should have been a completed pass just because you got to get square and you got to put it on the guy who's wide open. But when you needed it on 4th down, he got it. The line blocked. The receiver got wide open. Don't know how the number 1 receiver for the Bears gets that wide open. I'm always amazed. When
it was single. Dude, DJ Moore run hella routes, man. Like he's really good route runner, dude. And you know, like, and he just managed to go. And because what happened was too when he beat him, I didn't think they were expecting. Yeah, he changed the route. No, he did. That's what DJ was saying. DJ said the original route he was supposed to run wasn't that route, and the corner was on him. But then DJ noticed that the middle of the field was wide open. Nobody was covering the middle of the field because even that linebacker that was in the middle was a QB spy versus trying to drop back because they were afraid of Justin running forward.
Wait. Have you broken that play down? Okay, I got to go back and watch it. So I want to know what the play call was because if he was the only person in the middle of the field, where the hell was everyone else running routes to?
Everyone there was a couple running deep. Komet was and somebody was underneath. But DJ was saying that there was like he just noticed it was open and he just ran inside and then fucking Fields freaking hit him.
Okay, so I got to go back and watch it. I don't know if they're going to give all 22. I don't have all 22.
Yeah, all 22 is already out. I can bring it up right now. That's easy.
Okay, so
I have all 22 axes. What are you talking about?
So a thing I learned in football in college is that when you're down and you need points late in the game or it's a fourth down, the routes you run, if you're going to run 4 routes, you need a sideline route, you need a vertical route, and you need something in the middle of the field. But all of those routes have to cover the 10 yards or whatever yardage you need because you need those. Whether you're trying to get first down, but on the fourth down, there should have been someone running something in the middle anyway. But it should have been at the 10-yard or 10 because the way the play looked after he caught the ball was like, wow, that's a really good play call because. And then why was he open? But it's like, okay, so what was the play call on 4th and 10 if the only person in the middle of the field was a tight end, and was the tight end with Komet even 10 yards on his depth of his route?
I don't think so.
Guessing and calling the appropriate calls. Like, what do you?
I'm trying to find it right now. I think this is Minnesota trying to get their last coverage. This is defense.
You love Daddy now, my little man. He heard me talking, and I got the Texas Oklahoma State game on.
Oh, but yeah. So just going through defense played freaking awesome, man. At the end of the day, and then for Justin, look, I'm probably more happy about Justin being able to hit DJ Moore, for him being able to close that game for the simple fact, like he fumbled twice. The first one was like, first one he just did
play.
Yeah, like it was. I still don't think he had the ball like tucked in enough, especially being that secured, right? But that second one though, like that one was just a good defense. Justin thought he had that secured enough when he was gonna get taken down, and then they just punched that shit out, man. Like it just is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes football plays are to be made. Unfortunately, sometimes we're on the wrong end of it. All right, so let's go ahead and get a grade because I want to move on to some off-season stuff, some draft information stuff, because that's what everyone no matter where you look, we're already looking toward next season and off-season. I want to get your grades for offense, defense, and coaching for Minnesota.
I'd give defense a solid A, man.
On defense, you got 4 turnovers, pass rush.
Hey, what's up, big dog? Appreciate you stopping by. Freaking
like and subscribe. Don't forget.
I would say on offense, bro, I'd give it a C, man. No creativity.
Yeah.
No, nothing. Silence, vertical freaking passing or horizontal passing versus any kind of vertical. Yeah. And then they just build off of it, bro. If you want to get the ball out of Justin's hand, fine and dandy, man. But like you have all these other routes. I don't know why the Bears are afraid to throw slants, sluggos, turn goes, curls. I mean, just dude, everything, dog. They just refuse to do it. But anyways, that's tired of beating a dead horse.
Your coaching grade.
Yeah, and then coaching.
But Getsy makes it lower because I think Blues called a hell of a game.
Yeah, and I think that's where it averages out, and it's a C as well. It averages out. So ACC to me. That's funny.
Yeah. So offense you gave a C. Defense you gave an A, and then coaching gave a C. I'm going to give offense. Execution. We kind of struggled running the ball though, so I'm going to give it a C minus. Breaking coverage. I mean, even the screens that we could have broke out on, they weren't block property. So that's knowing your job and execution. Defense, turnovers, pass rush. Depth of we do allow a touchdown, but I mean you only allow 10 points. So I'm going to give them. I agree with you. I'll give them an A. And then coaching, I think Flus coached amazingly. I would have gave him like an A for coaching, but Getsy, C plus, because I would have gave Flus as the head coach and as the defensive coordinator. I would have given him an A plus because You can't call a better game defensively, and your guys perform. All right, so let's go ahead and let's jump into some other
real
stuff.
quick.
So,
I have the game real quick. If T can bring it up real quick, I have that play so we can look at it.
Okay.
All right. So here it is. This is the all 22, right? So you see, like, I'm gonna bring this back real quick. I'm gonna bring it back 10 seconds. Dan, that's too much. I wish, you know what? I need to download these so I can bring this up on frames. Look at more. The defensive back was just like thinking he was gonna run deep, and Moore just made it seem like he just ran inside. There'll be another look right here as well.
I don't like the play call. On a 4th and 10, Komet's, he's a slotted wide. He chips. He runs a shallow cross. So you have Mooney on the post. Okay, so this is what I'm thinking. I think the outside, I don't know, but it looked like it was a go and a seam and a post on the right side. That's what it looks like. And DJ's, is he the widest guy? He was the widest guy, right?
Yep.
DJ's the widest guy. So that means that DJ either was running a fade or a comeback. You have the inner slot, the middle slot guy running a corner. So it looks like what is it? Is it a curl, a corner, and a post?
I think DJ was supposed to run straight up, and when he noticed, he kind of slowed down, then thinking that, and then the cornerback just kind of like, oh, okay, whatever, and DJ just kind of like faded into the center.
Scott runs a corner.
Yeah,
Scott runs a corner. So actually, if the play call was that play call, like literally, so if you on trip side, you can imagine it. 3 on one side, your widest receiver, who's DJ Moore, okay. Then you have Scott on the 3, and he's the middle of the 3 guy, and you have Mooney as your inner slot. He's number 3 if you count 1, 2, 3 from outside to inside. He runs a post. Scott runs a corner. The perfect play call would have been to stretch the coverage. Would have been a dig from your wide receiver, but he changes the route, so that lets me know that you didn't even have anybody in the deep middle, which makes no sense. Intermediate middle. That's a bad play call. Thank God DJ changed the fucking route.
But that's what I'm saying. DJ noticed the defense. He recognized the defense was playing out. You know what I'm saying? Was playing off. So either way, it worked out, and we got the dub. And that is all that's important.
He chips and runs a super shallow because he's not going to get first down on that yardage.
Nope.
So that just goes back to Getsy. What the fuck are you calling? You have the clock on your side in that situation. Someone has to be at the intermediate middle of the field. Someone has to be. If you're going to stretch 2 guys vertically on the same side with a corner and a post, someone has to be running a dig.
But you ever notice though? You ever notice though? This is the problem with Getsy's style of offense. It takes too long to develop. He tries to throw all these intermediate to long routes versus like, I wouldn't say intermediate. It's just all these long routes, and it makes no sense, man. Yeah. Cool. So freaking when you play, so let's get to the comment. Helmet on the ball will pop the ball 9 times out of 10. Crooked commish. Yup. They're trying to get the ball in DJ's hands more, but sick of these damn screens. Cornerbacks are blowing them up. Yep. Troy, howdy, what's up? And then when you play not to lose, you end up losing. That's why I said in the beginning of the stream, there's a difference between playing not to lose and playing to win. So, but yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, we ended up getting we ended up winning the game. That's all that matters. Yeah. They got a dub. A primetime win at that. Let's not even talk about the primetime schedule, but a record, I mean. So either way,
first divisional win in game. What is it? This is a bye week, so it would have been double digit. Yeah. All right, so let's just move it along.
One more thing. Last thing. I would say the only player that I would say that I want to give mad kudos to in that game, though, was Roshan Johnson, man. Roshan picked up most of the blocks, double blocks, was coming out the freaking screen. So this thing, like, I'm glad that they made him more involved than Herbert.
On pickups. Well, we know Herbert's not as good Hey, that's my lady in the background. Herbert is not. We all know Herbert's not as good in pass protection. Doesn't mean he's not a better running back. It just obviously means it is what it
Yeah,
is.
but
You
I
don't
just
have
say Rojo to me was like
one.
my player to like mention because I think he played a hell of a game, even if it wasn't a whole bunch of yards. Like, dude,
Yeah.
there was a couple times where he picked up double blocks, bro, and it was noticeable, and so it was legit. But yeah, okay, go ahead and move on. My bad. I just had to give Rojo a shout out.
Okay, no problem. So, what I wanted to get into because I thought we would have a few more, always be more of us on this, so I counted for having more. Is I want to get thoughts on the season so far. No, I want to push that back actually. Prediction for the end of the season for the rest of the games. I want to know because I've been thinking about it. A lot of different shows, whether it be online in the YouTube sphere or on actual national television, is for next year. The Bears are most likely not going to be in the playoffs. Even if they won out in 6 games, well, no, if they won out. They
61% chance. I already put up the stat up in this thing, and I can pull it up right now. I'll say it right now. Hold on. Where is it at? Where is it at? Where is it at? See, I knew you were gonna bring this up. I should have brought it up anyways. So if the Bears win out from here and granted, there's still a lot of like possibilities, right? Other teams play a variable, but just based on 80,000 simulations, if the Bears win out, they have a 69% chance of making the wild card.
Yo, that would be crazy. Because to me, I still have them going 7-10. That was my prediction.
Yep.
All they literally have to do is go 3-2 to go 7-10.
If they go and lose to the Browns and win out, it drops to 21,000% for them to make the wild card. And then, if they end up losing to the Lions and to the Browns, then there's less than a 1% chance we make it. A bunch of other stuff has to happen.
Yeah,
for this thing.
But you can only control what you can. So that's as a coach and as a player, that's all we can think. We don't, unless you're depending on the team the last game of the season to play. But you have to play out you control what you control. Plus, I just didn't think this team was ready for a playoff appearance anyway.
We knew that though. Like we were hoping.
Reasonable. I love Amp, but Amp had him preseason. I could go back in my notes. Amp had him going. What Amp had him going this year? Amp had them going 12-5. He had them going 12-5. So we bring that up.
You know what? So with all the preseason hype, I'm not gonna lie. With all the preseason hype, prior to the actual preseason starting, then when the preseason started, like, dude, I would give it up to the Bears social media team, bro. Like they had people hype. That freaking that new creative director or whoever her name is that they hired from Northwestern, she was doing her job. But yeah, I don't blame him because
I've become reasonable.
Yeah, however, I was happy. I think I said that they would probably go 9-8 or 8-9 with a possible playoff push. Right. And
that was my best.
Yeah, they might have been able to get there, but they just, it just wasn't all clicking. I think if Getsy would have stayed to his play calling towards the end of last season for Justin, I think they would have had a better record than what they do now. That's just me. However,
but it's like
Getsy's got to go.
It's like he's both. He's consistently inconsistent. Then occasionally he's inconsistent to like his fault to where it benefits the Bears offense. So what I want to do is I want to jump into our thoughts about off-season moves and draft. So it looks like as of now the Bears are slotted for 1-5. I think the Carolina's going to get a win or two in here. So I'm not going to lie. I don't want the first pick. I don't want the first pick because they're going to take a quarterback because teams are afraid of drafting for talent. I'm a big proponent of drafting for talent. I personally think we've had this chat, you read along. I think Marvin Harrison Jr. is the most talented and has the most upside of anyone in the draft that's slotted in the top 5. I believe he has the fewest
I agree.
balls, and I think that you take the best guy. I think the best guy is Marvin Harrison. I don't care if it's number one. Take the receiver. Justin still has to play his fourth year. Because a word we use about quarterbacks is every year, or correction, not even every year, but say there's always a quote-unquote bad quarterback draft, but almost every other year there's always a generational quarterback. Check this out. You can't use the term generational every draft about a quarterback. Okay? Generational is supposed to be reserved for like every 5 or 6 years, like Andrew Luck, John Elway, Patrick Mahomes, but he wasn't considered generational when he came out.
He sure wasn't.
The third or fourth when he came.
Hey,
Right.
real quick, bro. Hey,
was a
real quick. Can you just check? Can you check your mic real quick? Because as you're talking and moving, it's like it gets like real staticky. I don't know if you're just moving too much or what. You know what I'm saying?
How's that?
That's all. It's a little bit better.
Maybe I get little man in the background.
It's not little man.
so
It's
like
a static when you move. I think it's I don't know something. It's the way the mic. It's the way the mic's picking you up talking. That's all.
Okay, I'll move it up. Is that helping at all?
No, it's this thing.
Okay.
Just try not to move. You can put your mic down. Just try not to move too much. You know.
Not too much animation. Okay.
Don't be so emotional.
Right. I got you. So I think we should take the best player available, regardless of position. I think that's what I believe in the draft. Obviously, if you think you have say Houston was horrible this year, or say they were middling, and you think C.J. Stroud was the best guy, you don't take a quarterback. You trade out of that. But you trade out of that because you don't need him because you got your guy. You're not sure if you got your guy, but even if you draft a quarterback, you have to get rid of Justin. And if you keep this coaching staff, you can't. It doesn't matter. Like the flaws.
Yeah. The flaws run deeper than the quarterback, which we've been saying for the last 2 years.
And even if you take Caleb Williams, the problem that he has is the same problem that Justin has, holding the ball too long. That's the same.
They have the same skill. To me, they have the same skill set. Granted, I think Caleb Williams can make
a little more athletic, one's bigger.
Yep.
Physically bigger, because Caleb's he's not 6'3", 225, 230. He's probably what I heard. He's like around 6 feet, probably 212 or something to that effect. So he might have a little more short area quickness as far as in the pocket quickness. Justin's kind of I think he's better acceleration than movement in tight areas, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Caleb
has a knack for throwing the ball from weird positions, kind of like Mahomes does. Like just
his platform. He changed his platform really well. You know who had a really good platform? People raved about his platform changing. Who now people are talking about he's a bust? Zach Wilson. That was one of his benefits. One of his pros when he came out was he changed his throwing platform, sidearm, angles, arm angles. That was a benefit. That was a pro for him. So, look, if you keep this coaching staff, fuck the coaching staff, you keep Getsy. I don't care if it's Caleb Williams or Justin. It's still Getsy calling the plays, coaching the way he coaches. Maybe the quarterback coach has I don't know how much he's helping or hindering, but you end up with the same thing. You end up with a guy who's holding the ball too long, waiting to make plays, and the offensive line will be better. I know it will be better next year, but Justin, you have him because you keep him next year, and then you deny the 5th-year option. That means he has to play for a new contract. There's quarterbacks every draft, even the years where the prognosticators think that there's no first round quarterback. They get boosted up anyway because people need quarterbacks.
Yeah. Those are the years when they draft a defensive tackle or an edge rusher first with the pick. You know what I'm saying?
And then even the guy who's rated like to go second round goes like in the teens because some teams are so starving for quarterbacks. So look,
I mean, even last year's
um,
draft, people went ahead that you didn't think they were going to even go that far up, and then people dropped where you thought they were going to be first round talent. I mean, at the end of the day, like, you know, so I mean, case in point right there.
so even if we go back to Justin's draft, I thought Trevor Lawrence was the number one pick. I thought he was the number one regardless. I thought his talent was renowned. I didn't think any of those other quarterbacks were top 10 picks. I had all of them. I had Zach Wilson. I had Justin. I had Mac Jones. I had all of them outside the top 12 because I just didn't think they were worth the top 10 pick.
I can agree with you
Because
on that one. I didn't think any of them aside from Trevor Lawrence was like actually worthy of like a top 10 pick. I agree with you 100%.
right.
But
And of course they got
you look at the teams that the teams that got drafted to, they needed quarterbacks though. And
the
so
quarterback. And
hence
we ended
why
up getting Justin at 15. We traded up. So I think Justin ends up going in a very perfect spot for Justin. Um, Zach going number 2 was just a detriment to where he went to, although he had some other interline issues. But maybe,
yeah.
but maybe also, I know I believe you believe the same thing. Is that I just have this fear that if Justin goes somewhere else, or if he goes to Atlanta, this dude's
That's
gonna
a
light
wrap.
it up.
It's a wrap.
He may never be all pro. He may never be all pro. But I can see Justin putting up 4,700 yards, having some type of Josh Allen effect on Atlanta with the talent they have in that coaching staff. I can see it.
Hey, real quick, I want to
Bring him
point out
home
something
and
as we're talking. Look at what Cricket Commissioner saying. He said, we make the playoffs. That means these current coaches probably stay. They can point
yeah,
at how well they did at the end and turn in the corner. I agree, but I also
you still
disagree at the same time. And once
still right.
we get this thing, I'll say that piece. But no, you're right. Like I think Justin goes somewhere else, he's gonna end up lighting it. Whether he becomes an all pro or whatever the case might be. Think about how many
He's gonna be a
quarterbacks they don't
very
really do well
good
at their
quarterback.
first teams and they get traded and then they do awesome. I will say this,
We
like
make fun of Kirk Cousins all the time, but Kirk Cousins lights it up every year statistically. You can talk about his prime time record. You can talk about his playoff record. Kirk Cousins consistently puts up 4,000 yards, 30 touchdowns, and less than 10 picks. I'll take that.
I mean,
Gives
look at
gives the team a chance.
I think what Houston did with CJ Stroud should be the formula of what you do with young quarterbacks. You get rid of your fucking ego. You get rid of your fucking pride. You throw whatever fucking playbook you have, and you build the scheme that works to the strength of your quarterback to make him successful. Houston record, I mean, like CJ Stroud result is an OC who understands the limitations of a rookie quarterback, and he needs to learn the game. And I'm going to put the quarterback in a position to fucking win. Like, I'm sorry,
No,
that's my 2 cents on it.
doesn't look like he has flaws though. That's the thing. So if we just talk about those two guys, DJ and Bryce, yes, I had a fear about Bryce because of his build, and not because of his height, because of his build as in his body structure. I think that height in the NFL is overrated, but I don't think that bulk is overrated. So the smaller quarterbacks and your quickness, like the smaller you are, the quicker you have to be. So if you take a Kyler Murray or even though he wasn't drafted in the first round, but like those guys who are stockier and short, Bryce is really slight. And although I don't believe in height being a major factor as a quarterback because you're throwing in lanes, not over, I do believe in your body size. Kind of like like in college, if you're a running back and you're 5'8", but you weigh a buck 70, you work in college, but you can't be 5'8" and a buck 70, buck 80 in the league because the pounding you take is going to catch up with you. So I
I
believe
can
the
agree
same
with
thing
you. I mean,
because the
yeah,
quarterback,
I agree.
you're going to get hit, you're going to get flung, and if you're 5'10", if you're 6 feet and you're a buck 90 soaking wet, this ain't high school. This is the league. Yo, you gonna get broke.
Yo, I
And that's
like throwing the ball, but I would never play quarterback. I'm 5'8", dog. I'm sorry. I'm not I'm not doing
it's not
it.
it's not advantageous. And then the smaller you are, your short area quickness has to be elite, has to be special, has to be Mike Vick-ish, it has to be um, a younger Russell Wilson-ish. So CJ Stroud was the number one quarterback for me because I thought those two quarterbacks did the same thing. Also, I have to say, I've never seen a quarterback, especially a black quarterback, get criticized for not using his athleticism. I've never seen it. I'm 38. I've been following the draft since I was in middle school. So that says I've been following the draft since 1997, 98. I've never seen an athletic quarterback, let alone a black athletic quarterback, get knocked for he doesn't run enough. That's preposterous. It's like every year, franchises and quarterbacks and
it's one way. It's one way or another, man.
He runs too much. You know what? He's so athletic. Why doesn't he run more? Like, bro, because he's amazing from the pocket. But to bring it back to the Bears, I don't care. I don't want the number one pick because I don't want Caleb. I want Marvin Harrison Jr. And then with your second pick in the top 10 or possibly top 8, because even if they end up 7 and 10, they're not going to end up with the 5th pick unless I just don't see that happening. But you're going to end up with 2 picks in the top 10, most definitely. You got to get an interior guy, whether that's a tackle, a left tackle predominantly, or you get either a rush end or you get your prototypical 3. Although Dexter's playing really well, like those kids need more snaps. Like Dexter,
I said that from the, especially with the way the seasons are going. Right. They should have been had more playing time. But anyways, I digress. Go ahead.
So yeah, I think you got to sign Jalen. Just overall moves, you got to sign Jalen. I say you got to sign him. I say forget the franchise tag, sign him. I've been saying this, and Anthony's going to disagree with me. Amp's going to disagree. You sign him money between slots. I think I did the math a couple weeks ago. You sign him. The slot you want to sign him in is cornerback money. Oh, where did I put it? Crap. Damn, did I go back that far? I wanted to say you sign them with the money like top 8. So between slot 7 and 12, somewhere in there is the math that I ended up doing. Because I don't think you can sign him top 5 money because he doesn't get the turnovers. So I think the perfect slot for I did the math. So the math the last time I did it was the slots 1, 2, 3 corners are paid $20 million a year. Slots 4 to 6 are paid $19 million. Number 8 corner is Trayvon White for the Bills. He's 17.25. C.J. Jackson for the Chargers is 16.5. So Jalen's going to get 16 plus. So if you slot him somewhere in the 18 slot range, I think you can get a deal done. He's not going to get 20 million because he just doesn't get the
18 with about 10%, 10 to 15% above that value, I think is where he'll land. Because you're doing 2 things. Yeah. You get him what the current market is. And I know I know we say that we don't go and base it on what you think they can do. But what you're doing is you're trying to predict the market, what it would be halfway through his contract or towards the end of the value of the market. And you look at the trends. So what you're doing is you're giving him above the current market value to match. So when all these new deals come out next year, the season after, he's still in the right place. You know what I'm saying? He's no longer playing for like, let's say 18 mil and the market value is at 22. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. I agree 100%. So most definitely, you have to sign him. You got to get a center. I don't care if it's in the draft or free agency. But you got to get a center because even if you keep a left tackle or you draft another left tackle and they all compete, because we all think that Braxton is a swing tackle. Wait.
Braxton Jones, left tackle. Yeah, left tackle.
Okay, so who's the backup? I'm tweaking.
Larry Borum, I think, isn't it? Isn't it Borum?
Yeah, Borum. So Borum, I think Borum is outstanding as your swing tackle. He can play left and right. He's done it. The young man, Braxton Miller, who went to Utah, Southern Utah. I think he can be your left tackle for the future. It's only year 2. I think when he's on the field, the line looks solid. You got your guards health-wise. You need depth, obviously, but you need a legit starting center. You could get a legit starting center in round 3, 4, 5. I don't really want to try out free agent centers because you've been needing one for the past 3 seasons, or you go get the best free agent center you can find. I think you keep Justin. I think you deny the 5th-year option. You make him play. You play the contract for his 4th-year option. So if he underperforms, no loss, nothing lost. You just have to draft another guy. Don't worry about who's coming out. Just whoever's coming out, you just got to do your due diligence to find another quarterback. Or if he balls out, then you pay him. I mean, it's quarterback.
Yeah.
If you ball out, you're going to get paid anyway.
Yeah. So Crooked Commiss had a question real quick. Speaking about, we're talking about corner. He's like, what do you think the Bears offered him at the beginning of the season? Was it less than that range that you said? So we don't know the official number. Media is speculating that it's somewhere between 17 and 18. Jalen wants at least over 19. Is, again, just a speculation. But Poe said himself that they were never able to sit down. They weren't able to give a final number. They were talking. They went back and forth real quick, or not real quick, but I say real quick. But they were talking. They kind of like did their like initial offers, but there was no. They weren't able to do counter offers.
Okay.
Right, because that's the progression. This is what Poe said, and then after Jalen spoke after Poe's, and he didn't say that what Poe said was false, but he didn't say that it was true either. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of conjecture and guesses on what the final numbers are. Nobody knows. I tried looking. I mean, I tried going through the Twitter /Xverse.
19 is going to be a hard sell. Even, I mean, it ain't my money, but I just don't think.
Yeah.
Because
do you see the quote that
slots 4 through 6 and corners currently are paid $19 million, and maybe you can flirt with I guess you could flirt with 19, which would technically make him between 6 and 7. But shit, you just paid Edmonds 18, so I mean you could pay him 19. He's your best corner.
So wanting 19 million, where does that put him on the scale? So that puts him again like middle of the pack. But this is where I think the Bears are gonna have to give him, if they franchise tag him. The current 24 projection is franchise tag for corners are going to be above 19 mil. I think he wants more than that. I think if the Bears do 10 to 15%, I know I can't either. I'll be honest with you. I've been a firm believer that 17 to 18 is where he is. However,
I do.
If he balls, let's just say now all of a sudden you started to see him now. You see him play the ball more. Teams are trying to go towards him. So if he makes a case where he gets more interceptions towards the end of the season now he has a case for himself. So now you have one of the lowest. He has the highest coverage rating, one of the highest for cornerbacks in the league. And now all of a sudden he's making play on the ball. Now he has an argument to make a case for 19 million. Will he get it? I don't know. I will say that like the Bears kind of hurt themselves. I know I'm thankful for the Montez Sweat signing. I think it was the best thing that Post did during a regular season because we needed an edge rusher. And now 100%. he started to show like his presence alone is helping to improve the line. But Jalen's going to use that against them as well. You know what I'm saying? To say wait, I think, did you just go mute or was it me? Oh, okay. I don't know. I just went quiet real quick. All right. But I think that's where it is. And so if the Bears are smart, I could see the Bears doing, again, like 10 to 50% above the market value, whether that's 18 mil, whether that's 19 mil, because they're going to, I don't want to say stabilize. They're not going to set the market. I will tell you that. The Bears will not set the market. They don't do that.
I believe they're not going to set the market.
Right. I think they'll be just below the market. And if Jalen believes in what they're what's building upon the Bears, I think he'll stay. And I say that too because, dude, at the trade deadline, nobody put any offers out for him. I'm just saying, all these teams were supposedly talking.
Because he's a free agent, so why trade for him if you can get him if they don't work out a deal?
Well, yeah, it's probably what the Bears were asking. The Bears were probably asking fucking some ridiculous this thing, right? First round draft or second round pick, whatever the case might be, right? You're trying to this thing because you want to keep him, of course. Yeah, you're not trying to get rid of him. Yeah,
mid-season, you don't have any
but
leverage.
But that also, so as much as we want to say the teams could wait to the end of the season, there's certain teams that if they're making a push, they'll make that move though. And the fact that no move was made, you can use that as an argument. Like, hey, man, I understand where you see yourself, but obviously other teams didn't feel the exact same where they were going to actually make a move to help freaking get you either. Because all these teams making pushes aren't healthy.
You would literally, it would have to be a team that was not competitive, but the only teams that would have traded for him would have been teams that were getting a guy for a Super Bowl push. Not, oh, we have a shot, we need a corner. Like teams.
No. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I mean, just top 6 teams. Top 6 teams. So let's just say top 6 teams at the end of the day.
But those top 6 teams need a corner like that? A starting corner? He don't play the slot.
Yeah. So, but
I mean,
dude,
he doesn't play the slot.
As much as you say corner, I mean, look at the Rams fucking just went and sold their souls to make a Super Bowl run. Right? And it's catching and it's showing now. But case in point. So real quick, I'm gonna say, for me, as far as the first draft pick, I think the Bears should. I think Justin's the quarterback, man. I think they're gonna go pick up his 50-year option to keep him an additional 2 years. That gives you room to go and build still from the inside out. Because Fields is still a good quarterback. I hope. Do I want Marvin Harrison Jr.? Yes. Can I see the Bears though still, like, if the Bears have the first pick and you can see I don't think he's number 1 though. That's right. I understand. I'm all for drafting Marvin Harrison Jr., but I think what the Bears would do is I can see them trying to trade that number 1 pick within the top 5, so they still have a top 5 pick, because they are going to win out. They're going to win out their pick. They're going to win out of the top 5 with their pick. 100%.
Yeah, I think they are too. I think they're not going to be a 5. I think they're going to be a 7 or 8.
Yep, 100%.
They'll be in the top 10.
So if they have the first pick though, and you look at who needs a quarterback, because we were looking about this at the end of the Tuesday show, was like, hey, who needs a freaking quarterback? And while we were saying like maybe only 2 teams, dude, there was more than 2 teams. Just depends on how much are they willing to get their quarterback of what they believe, right? Like, what are teams willing to give up?
If they trade out of it, and I know Foulmouth was saying, why do you care what other people think? You don't want to set that type of precedent as an organization that you had 2 back-to-back number 1 picks and you trade out of them. So that's why I don't think they'll trade out of it, because if you hypothetically miss again, Justin has to perform. I just don't think because Poles is not. He didn't draft Poles didn't draft him. I think they're going to make him pick for the 5th year. That's what I think. I believe that because Poles didn't draft him, Poles is not linked to him as far as drafting him. I just said that twice in 2 different ways. He's going to make him play for his 5th year. You decline the 5th year because they have to make the decision at the end of this year. So unless they win 5 games in a row.
Well, Crooked Commission asks, how soon do we need to make the decision on Justin Fields, his 5th-year option? And it's got to be at the end of it, like immediately after the season's over, they got to make a decision. They can't wait until right before the draft. They got to decide, or they might wait right up until the draft, and then to sit there and decide whether or not they're going to do it or not. I mean, I don't know. We didn't think Poles. We were waiting for Poles. We didn't think Poles was going to make the decision for the first round pick at the closer. Yeah, so it might be a bargaining chip as well, because
exactly.
But you can think
wherever you trade him, if you sign him to the 5th year and you trade him, that team's got him for 2 years guaranteed.
Yep. So I think it'll happen after the season, though. I think it'll happen after the season. I don't think they'll wait. But even if they do pick up his 5th-year option, that doesn't mean that they still won't draft a quarterback, though. So you got to remember that. Will they? No. Should they? No. But
they need to, not in the first round.
Oh, no. In the later rounds. Oh, 100%. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Because I like Tyson Bagent. And I think he's a good Cinderella story too. But I still think he'll need a couple more years in the league before he can actually develop into a starting quarterback. But that's a whole other discussion. That's not even part of this. Tony Harris says, use Harris to build an O-line with additional picks.
So that second pick, even if it's in the top 10, I think so. Foulmouth said he likes Neighbors, the kid out of LSU. that kid's not worth a top 10 pick. I know he's really athletic. The only thing he does better than Marvin Harrison Jr. is his vertical threat and separation game is better. I think Marvin. I haven't seen enough plays where Marvin is just beating coverage by yards. Yes, it's football, so you're going to get some plays where he's wide open or he's in the middle of the field, but I don't think he beats corners one-on-one and he garners, 3 or 4 steps. He does catch a lot of contested passes. He's going to get bigger, all that other stuff. Obviously, in the NFL. Bo Nix, I would stay with Bo Nix. I don't think Bo Nix is what. Look, yes. I watched Bo Nix in the SEC. So to me, if you're not an SEC quarterback, minus Jalen Hurts, who won a national championship. So yes, he did transfer out of the SEC, but he produced in the SEC. If you don't produce in the SEC and you go to a conference like the Pac-12 and produce, you're not a first-round draft pick to be a quarterback. I just can't. I guess unless you blame the offensive coordinator and stuff at Auburn when Bo Nix was there. Bo Nix is right now, just off thinking, I think Bo Nix is a 3rd or 4th round draft pick. Penix is better than him. The kid from North Carolina is better than him. I don't think that kid's even worth the top pick either.
Bro, Bo Nix is gonna end up being like Will Levis, standing there waiting to get picked the first round and just sitting around.
I think Will Levis is better than Bo Nix. I think Will Levis is better. I had Will Levis over, but I had Will Levis higher. It's just that he got criticized because of his injury history, his turnovers when it's clutch. Kentucky doesn't have the most elite talent. They're kind of like mid-tier SEC anyway.
Yeah.
But I don't think Bo Nix. I wouldn't even draft him if you had a chance. If Penix drops, If Penix drops like the 2nd, I would take Penix. I like Penix a lot. The thing that
but would you would you go
the more you hold the ball, the less athletic you are, the more you get rid of the ball faster. That's just how it goes.
But do you sit here though? Do you really want to waste a 2nd round pick knowing that there's other more critical needs? You see what I'm saying? Like we need a center, we still need another 3 tech, we still need a freaking. I would venture we still need another guard. Like another safety. Oh, Eddie Jackson's got to go, bro. I will be amped right now and say Eddie Jackson needs to freaking go. I love Eddie Jackson, but bro, you cannot sit there as a safety. You can't sit there as a safety and let people get past you. You just can't.
How do you think he played in Minnesota?
He played all right.
I think Eddie Jackson, if he stays a Bear, he has to take a tremendous pay cut, like whatever the league veteran minimum is. Obviously, you can't re-sign him to any legitimate deal that keeps him, and then you obviously have to get safety help because I don't think the young guys. You don't have even. So yes, we run a cover 2, but none of the safeties on this team are rangy free safety. So you don't run cover 2 every single defensive snap. You need a guy who can go sideline to sideline. We don't have that safety on this team without Eddie Jackson. He's still the best free safety on the current roster.
On the current roster, yes, I agree with you 100%. But he goes and he's just
box type safety.
He just missed. But at the free safety, he just misses assignments, though. He's missed too many assignments for me this season, man. I understand the scheme is everything. I understand that. Please to the God. But when you go, your number 1 rule as a freaking free safety is to let no one behind you. I don't care. Now, if you got 2 receivers and you got to decide to go left or right, then you eat that. You go left or right, and then obviously, bam, it's one-on-one on the outside, whatever the case might be. Like that is scheme. Right. But when you're the only person back there, and you go and you let this dude pass you, and then you look like, where were you guys at? Get the freak out of here, bro. Come on.
I don't think
even
Eddie
hit line with your puberty right there.
I don't think Eddie has adjusted to the fact that he's not an elite. He doesn't have elite speed anymore. So that was a part of him getting a jump on the ball. So he's not playing with anticipation like he's diminished physically.
Yeah.
So there's reasons why you can at the free safety why you're getting BD, bad reading, and a diminishing of skills. I think his anticipation is still there. I just don't think his reactionary time and his jump and his elite speed to get to that point. Because in the Detroit game, I think that he didn't get there because he just can't. And he thought he could and he couldn't. Like it looked. I think I watched it, but when you put it up, I watched it. I was like, maybe he was trying to bait him because he thought he could get there, but did you not think like? I just talk about myself. Once I knew physically that I couldn't get to the spot anymore, no, I couldn't bait anybody. No, I'm just gonna go there now because I don't have the speed to get there.
Dude, I can understand if he thought that someone was gonna cross back in the middle, and so maybe he was staying there. But dude, when you're backpedaling and you're seeing, it's on the left side of the ball, and he's going fucking vertical, bro.
Yeah.
And as soon as bro, you had to be backpedaling, and as soon as you seen Jalen like peel off to the left to cover the sideline, bro, you gotta react, and you have to go this thing. And he was still playing, and then he looked like, what happened? Like, no, man, I'm sorry, dude. A defensive back's number one rule is you never want to sit there and get bit deep, bro. Especially a free safety, bro.
I've run out of excuses. I'm not going to have an excuse for Eddie on that. I would just say that the only thing that would even come close to an explanation is if you're playing cover 2 and you have a guy threatening your middle, the easiest throw for the quarterback is the middle. So you lean to the middle because the sideline throw is actually the hardest throw because the middle throw is right here. It's right. It's an easier seam route is easier than that sideline where you got to drop it in that bucket. I have to go look at that play again. But if no one was threatening the deep middle, there is no reason why he shouldn't have been going to the sideline.
Bro, everything was on the other side of the field.
Yeah, so I agree. And that, to me, that just goes back to do you think Eddie Jackson? If I'm talking to Eddie Jackson, or if I'm the defensive coach, I'm like, Eddie, you're not that guy anymore. You got to play it honest. It goes back to Terrell Smith being playing it honest or being aggressive or being conservative. Eddie, I know you want your picks to go up so you can get your last contract, your last big contract that you can get as a pro. But how about you just play the damn coverage true and just make a play on the ball?
Especially with a foot injury for 2 seasons in a row, bro. He's had a foot injury for 2 years in a row. I'm sorry.
It's the same thing. It literally goes back to his anticipation and him not getting there. Okay, so it's pushed into. I didn't think we was going to push to 2 o'clock, although we technically have only been on for an hour and 45 minutes because we got a little bit later start because I wanted a noon start. It's cool. So I want to just wrap this part of the segment up. So if I was the Bears, and let's just say this end of the season, we ended with the first pick and pick 9. I take Marvin Harrison Jr. number 1. I take him. I take the best, the most talented guy. I think he's a more talented receiver than Caleb is a quarterback because I just do.
I don't want to drop your quarterback.
If I rate Caleb Williams for the last 3 drafts, like you should rate quarterbacks within a guys who they were kind of contemporaries against. He's not the best quarterback in the past 3 drafts. He's not in my opinion. And since this is year 3 of Justin, if you compare him to 3 drafts ago, he's not better than Trevor Lawrence. I would take Justin coming out over Caleb. And the offense he plays in, I'm sorry, that offense he plays in with that offensive coordinator head coach, the only person who they produce that's super successful is Jalen. And Jalen had flaws coming out of Oklahoma. That's how he went so late. And the reason why he's so successful is because the Eagles do a great job of coaching and roster building. Not a product of the offense, more or less, because
they built around him.
Passing. Yeah. So I take Marvin Harrison Jr. and then with the second pick, if I can't trade it to go down, I get someone I get the best rush in, the kid from Florida State. I think there's a kid at Washington. I don't know if he's eligible. However that shakes out, I go get another rush in, or if there's an interior guy as far as interior D tackle, I go get that guy.
What's up, John?
And then in the mid rounds, I stack depth, and I definitely got to get a center who's going to be the starter, who's going to compete for the starting job.
And there's a couple good centers out there too.
So So Bears get the number 1 pick and say not 5th, not 10th, say 7th or 8th. 1 in 7 or 8. Who do you take with those 2 picks? Oh yeah.
So yeah, dude, if we don't trade out, I think you have to draft Mario Harrison Jr. You have to. I'm sorry. Like if you're not gonna go and you're gonna go with Fields, Harrison's there. You got to. I still feel like you're right. I don't think they want to send the presidents 2 years in a row. They have to use this first pick, right? You want blue chip players at the end of the day. And
yes.
What's the average of blue chip players on a team? I think they said 8 to 10 blue chip players is what's considered like a successful, like, obviously not going to beat everybody, right? And it's both sides of the ball,
right?
But on the roster,
combined,
you know what I'm saying? And so if you have a chance to take a blue chip player off the rip, probably the most NFL ready, right? This thing, you got to take them. I like for number 9. Yeah, for 8 or 9, I think we take a center, and I'm okay if he's there. Really? I say we take the center from Notre Dame or the center from Georgia, bro. Like,
are they? I mean, I haven't looked at centers, but man, when's the last time a center went really high in the draft? Pouncey's? The Pouncey brothers?
Yeah.
Like one went higher. The younger one went higher than the. Well,
yeah, but the reason why, again, you still got to build the interior from the inside out, man. We haven't had a solid, like, don't get me wrong, freaking what's his face right now? Lucas Patrick has done a decent job. You signed Feeney as like your third center. Whitehair goes, and dude, I love Whitehair for the simple fact that he's probably been your gadget like lineman for years now. He has done everything we had asked him to and more. And I love Whitehair for that. But he's not starting on lineman before. Yeah, he's got to go, man. He's been put in too many places where he can't go and build upon and be good at one spot. Right. No, so I would love a center and then go from there, and then obviously build out if you can go ahead with the other picks, get some edge, get another edge, freaking young talent, whatever the case might be, free safety. Yep. Like, I know people are upset. They're like, we got to stop drafting defense, X, Y, and Z. Like, but bro, like the market, the free agent market is going to determine really how we're going to build out. We knew that last year's draft, we weren't going to fill up all the holes. People were mad because X, Y, and Z. Like, no, you got to look, you draft what you need, and then you kind of fill the holes, right? We know we weren't going to fill everything, so we didn't go after an edge. The Bears, for whatever reason, didn't. Okay, cool. You sign Ngakoue. Ngakoue signing was more to like for the fans to shut up, and then you would hope Ngakoue would do some things and didn't.
And he was available. He was available.
At the end of the day,
you didn't get Clowney, who is better versus the run. Like, I don't know what their stats look like right now, but I mean, at least you would have had a guy who's better versus the run.
And then old boy from KC, or was it KC? Yeah, freaking. They ended up signing him to a long deal. They couldn't get him because he wanted too much money as well. Like, I get why Poles has done what he's done, and for the most part, Poles has been transparent as far as how he wants to build this roster, which is why I think Poles will still be around, at least for another 3 years. 2 to 3 years, I think Poles will still be around, because that way, let him finish out building. Because, dude, overall, I'm excited, and I believe in Poles, man. As far as what he's done, I believe more in Poles than I ever did in Pace. Pace abandoned everything he said after his second year, right? He threw everything out the window. Yep. Angelo only did like 1 or 2 real good things. I hate Emery as well. Like, to me, Poles has done everything that what he said he was going to do, and it stuck more or less to his philosophy.
All right. Jadeveon Clowney has 7.5 sacks this year.
Yep.
He's on pace to actually hit a career high in sacks. He does play for Baltimore, who still has a very outstanding defense, but I mean, he would have helped here versus the run, although they're playing the run better, and sacks. Yeah, his career high in sacks is 9.5. He's already 2 away from that. So yeah, he had 9.5. He had 9 2 years ago with Cleveland. So you got Ngakoue, and Ngakoue has how many sacks with the Bears?
Well, the line just hasn't been there. I mean, at the end of the day, I think he has one.
Now,
I think he has one.
has help now, and
Yeah.
he hasn't gotten there. And the thing about him was, at least he's always had 6.5, 7.5, 8.5 sacks. Like, he doesn't even have half of that, and he's been the team the entire season at this point.
Yeah. So, but yeah, and I think, yeah, man, I think that's what we need. We need. I agree with Marvin Harrison Jr. I think we do a center, and then after that, everything else is free game. Someone put in the comments about bringing another dynamic tight end and bolster tight end utilization. I think Cole Kmet's going to be around for a while, man. I think Cole Kmet's still going to be around. They just extended him, so if they bring in another tight end, it's going to be someone like Tunyon. It's going to be like another Robert Tunyon. You know what I'm saying? Or what's his name? What's the other one? Not Bennett.
From Georgia.
No. What's the tight end now? I want to say Martellus Bennett, but it's not. But Lewis, there you go. Yeah, Martellus Lewis. Yeah. So Lewis, you're gonna bring in veteran presence, tight end or whatever the case might be.
For a role.
For a role, right? Not like the receiving tight end that this thing. I think Kmet has done better with blocking and chipping. He's done better with receiving compared, but they've utilized him more. And right now he's still, dude. He's right now he's one of the top tight ends in the league right now. Like you don't hear his name.
No matter how he is, he's still one of the best tight ends in the league.
And it's crazy, and it's on the Bears.
These generational tight ends are hard to find. The kid, the young man who plays for Falcons, Kmet has better numbers than him this year, and he's supposed to be an athletic freak. It doesn't matter. Evan Ingram was supposed to be, when he came out, was supposed to be one of these new age super athletic tight ends. Cole Kmet's averaging up until Badgett took over, because Cole Kmet's yards per catch just went down because Badgett was throwing all those 6-yard, 5-yard routes to him. Cole Kmet was averaging more yards per catch than Evan Ingram, and people think, no one would argue that Evan Ingram's a more athletic player than Cole Kmet, but it is what it is.
Dude, but this goes back again, beating a dead horse, freaking coaching. But anyways. But yeah, I think we'll go ahead and go from there, man.
8.2 yards. Hey, damn, 8.2. Yeah, Cole's over that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, dude, there is a lot of talent on this Bears roster, and we're just not utilizing the talent on the roster to their strengths. And dude,
Cole just dropped. Cole dropped down to 8.6, so I'm wrong. But
still, though, Cole Kmet is still one of the top tight ends in the league, and he's on a 4-18.
Prior to Tyson Bagent taking over a quarterback, Cole was at 10 yards a catch. He's been at 10 for the past 3 seasons, so he was trending much better than he is now. But the shorter passing game, and the screens don't help either. We're fucking running screens for fucking 5 yards. That shit is.
That's how come as an OC, and I don't know. I know we're running out of time real quick, but that's how come, like, dude, if you bring in an OC, I want somebody who has experience, but I don't want to bring in an OC who's gonna go be here for a season and then fucking leave, man, because now they're a head coach candidate.
Let's jump in this real fast. So going through different sites and different outlets, I'm going to name some people who could possibly come in just as OC. So say they finish 7-10 or better, and I just think you got to get rid of Getsy. I think
you have to, bro. You have to.
You have to get rid of him. So say they go 7-10, or even worse. Even if they go worse and they're both out, who do you go get as a head coach? But let's just talk about offensive coordinator. These are some names that I've heard out in different outlets. Ken Dorsey, former offensive for the Buffalo. Frank Smith, the OC for Miami. Frank Wright, ex-head coach for the Carolina. He's been fired from 2 head coaching jobs, so it's pretty. I'll say that he's probably going to regress from being a head coach to being just an offensive coordinator. Cliff Kingsbury, he's a quarterback coach at USC. He has NFL experience. Not good as a head coach, but his play calling as an offensive coordinator may be a benefit. Kellen Moore, OC for the Chargers. Ben Johnson, OC for Detroit. Bobby Slowick, the
Yeah.
OC for Houston. Eric Bieniemy, OC for Washington. Although if we fire Eagles, you got to call that. Pole's got a relationship. You got to call that man immediately. Your first call.
Who? Eric Bieniemy?
Yes, your first call is Eric Bieniemy. If you fire Eagles,
he's not leaving Washington. But anyways, go ahead.
For a head coaching position, he will. He want to be a head coach. That dude.
I think Ron Rivera's gone, and Eric Bieniemy is going to take over Washington. But anyways.
Oh, okay, that could happen. Very true. I think the offensive team is better over here than it is Washington, and the quarterback. Yeah. Greg Roman, Baltimore OC. He's great with quarterbacks who can run, but he's awful at schematicing and developing a passing game. So I don't think he's an option. The current Bears quarterback coach,
Andrew Janocko.
Clint Kubiak. He's an offensive assistant for San Francisco. He's obviously Gary Kubiak's son. Zach Robinson. Is that Zach Robinson? Is that the ex-Oklahoma State quarterback? I think that is. He's the quarterback for the Rams. What's the other names I got on here? I got Jared Johnson. I know all these names. Jared Johnson's the quarterback coach for Houston. He used to coach. He used to play at Texas A&M. He's Texas A&M quarterback before the Tennessee quarterback before Ryan Tannehill. In fact, he's the reason Ryan Tannehill played receiver as a sophomore and a freshman. Joe Brady, the offensive coordinator for the current Buffalo team since they fired Ken Dorsey. And the other name I wrote down is the OC for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think it's Press Taylor. I was writing
Press Taylor.
Trying to get
Yeah.
So just speaking about OCs right now, give me two guys you want. Two guys who are available, because even if you get an OC from another team, it has to be an upgrade to offer them a job if they're already OC. So, for instance,
assistant coach
Frank
or something
Smith
like that.
Miami. Well, no. So the rule is, from what I've heard, is, so for instance, Frank Smith is the OC for Miami, but he's not the play caller for Miami. So you can offer him a job because you're offering him the main coordinator job of calling plays. You're not offering him. It's not a lateral move because he doesn't currently call plays for Miami. So, which would be different for Eric Bieniemy because he calls the plays for Washington. So you couldn't. I mean, you could, but you would have to be okay from Washington to interview him. But I don't think he's going to move jobs. You would have to hire him as a head coach. But just for that understanding of that, who do you go after? Give me three names.
I actually like Frank Smith. I like Kellen Moore. I don't think he was the issue with Dallas last year before they fired him. Like, real talk. That's just
okay.
I don't think he was. And then it's a toss-up, and I know Carolina just got rid of him, right? Between Frank Wright and Ken Dorsey. I think though, I'd probably lean more towards Dorsey, only because Frank Wright just left Indy, then he went down to Carolina, and then I still think he should have got a shot at Indy better than them getting rid of him and then going down to fucking Carolina. I think they did him the same.
The Carolina job is very shaky because the thing was, I don't think he wanted Bryce. I think he wanted C.J. Stroud. I think he was overridden.
By the GM.
He got over. The owner. I think the owner overrid both of them. That's what the speculation is, that the owner overrid both of them, and he wanted Bryce Young, and then he's obviously the fall guy because the owner ain't about to quit. He can't fire the owner. He on the goddamn team. So you say Ken Dorsey, you said
Frank Smith,
and Frank Smith.
Okay. Yep.
So I know that Bears fans are afraid of guys who have never done the job, but we can't say that because there are guys who gotten jobs never calling plays who are doing great. Ben Slokey, the OC for Houston, he's never called plays before. His previous job was a quarterback coach, so it's possible. You just have to get the right guy, which means you have to interview the guys properly. Like, I really want to know.
But what was he willing to do, though? What we said at the beginning of the show, he built the offense for Stroud. I mean, he built the offense for him.
Look at the development part, right? So I don't like doing this, but he's been around. I know he's not an OC coordinator, but I don't know. Just hearing the Kubiak name and we run zone, like I want to interview Clint Kubiak as the OC. So Clint Kubiak,
I agree with that. Yeah.
I say Ken Dorsey. So I doubled with you with Ken Dorsey. He's been a long time NFL quarterback coach and assistant offensive coordinator, passing game coordinator, all that type of stuff. And I don't think you could get Ben Johnson unless it's a head coaching job. But if we're just talking purely OCs, I
would stay away from Ben Johnson as an OC because I think if he doesn't get a head coaching job next year, he definitely will the year after. You know what I'm saying?
After,
like,
right, exactly.
Imagine the defense this year in Detroit. He magically just goes to Chicago, and then he fucking does amazing, bro. He's gonna take over a head coaching job the following season.
You're gonna lose him. So that's more instability for Justin. So I got Clint Kubiak, Ken Dorsey. I double down with you, and the last name I look at. I'm taking a guy that has not called plays, but I just think what they're doing with the quarterbacks that they have. No, I just think nope. Let me not say that. Frank Wright. I think you bring in a guy who's done it. If you go with Clint Kubiak, he's never called plays, so that's your first timer. Okay. The next two guys for me, Ken Dorsey and Frank Wright, have done it. They've called plays. One has been a head coach. So you bring in a veteran in here who's worked with young quarterbacks, the young athletic quarterbacks, and you let him call plays, because I don't think Frank Wright's getting another head coaching job. Like, you can't get fired from back-to-back head coaching jobs in back-to-back seasons, essentially, and then no one's going to hire you 3 years in a row. So the next job you get, unless you're going to go to college.
Yeah, he has to be OC for a little bit before he gets another chance to be a head coach, at least for like 2-3 seasons.
So unless Frank Wright's going to like say, hey, you know what, I'm sick of the NFL game. I want to coach some college ball. I think you have to at least interview him, because I think that the last two jobs he had, I think that those jobs from the management, as far as the owner, have been mismanaged. All right, so we're right at the 2-hour mark. It's already 2:19. Wanted to talk some college football, but I don't. That's a whole nother segment. All I know is I'm watching the Big 12 championship right now, and Texas is beating the brakes off of Oklahoma State, which they should be doing because they should be.
Yeah.
I can't wait to watch the games later tonight. The SEC championship, of course, and the game.
Dude, Georgia, Alabama is probably going to be freaking amazing, and then
I really want to see the Big Ten game, because I just want to see someone beat the brakes off of Iowa.
Yeah.
There's only, as a Big Ten watcher, the majority of my life, there are 3 teams that I cannot stand as an Illinois fan and a Big Ten fan. Number 1 is Ohio State. Number 2 is Northwestern, and creeping up to 2B is Iowa. And I just don't like Iowa because. Okay, I'm going to be. I don't like Iowa because they're inept offensively and they keep winning games. That's 1. And 2, Iowa does the opposite of every single Division I school in the nation. So here's a weird stat that you could research yourself to just look at the team. Did you know that the Iowa Hawkeyes have more starting Caucasian guys in their back 7 than the entire SEC combined? I know there's a really obscure stat.
That is wild. Wait.
So
what?
So Iowa Hawkeyes have more Caucasian DBs and linebackers than the entire SEC combined. Starting linebackers and DBs have more than the entire SEC.
I mean, I guess if you talk about geographically, that makes sense because of where they're at. Who wants to go to Iowa? You know what I'm saying? So they ain't got no choice.
They do have
talent.
I just think.
I can see that, but yeah, that's wild, man.
I ain't gonna lie. The corner they got, our Caucasian brother at Iowa who plays corner, he's nice, but I just think at major college level you can't make 11 if 2 of your 4 DBs ain't brothers. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I just don't think you can make a living. You can't make a living off that in college football if your back 7, if half them dudes
for
got
sure.
have the last name that ends with a ski or a Sklovic or
Yeah, no, I got you. It's true though. Trust me, I know all them names too, man. You grew up in Chicago, you see everything. So
right, you got a lot of Polish people. I'm not hating. I'm just saying that I ain't got no problem with no ethnicity. I'm just saying that you watch the Big Ten championship game. Watch it. You could be like, this defense looks like something you would see in high school football or like at the D2 level.
Yeah. So
just the demographic.
I got it.
Go look
all
at
right,
you can watch the SEC championship game tonight. I'm sorry, you're not gonna see one DB starting that is not a person of color. I'm just saying because they know where the talent is. Okay.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Hey.
So I think we pretty much hit up everything we need to hit up, huh?
My last thing. The last major thing I want to say is because I want to say your thoughts on the season so far. We kind of got that already. What is your prediction for the rest of the season? There's 5 games left.
I can see I can see the Bears, honestly, and I know this is probably people thinking that I'm reaching. I can see the Bears winning out only because Cleveland doesn't have a quarterback now. We played the Lions close, and even though they'll be ready for Justin this time, dude, to me, the Bears on an upward trend. Now, do they beat the Lions and do they beat Cleveland? Probably not. I think they finished 3-2. For the rest of the freaking season, right? We got? Yep, Detroit, Cleveland, Arizona, Atlanta, and Green Bay. Can they win out? Yes. Will they win out? Yes, probably not. I think, like I said, I think Arizona is beatable. Atlanta is beatable, and I'm sorry, you have to win at Green Bay. You can't go through all this shit that you went through the season, and you lose to Green Bay at the beginning of the season, and you freaking end losing to Green Bay at the end of the season. You just can't.
Yes, you can't do that. Oh God. Even if you went 5-1 and made the playoffs.
So, with that being said, I said a few weeks ago that they would finish that in order for Flus to save his job, the Bears have to go 4-3, which would put them at 4-3 if they lose to Detroit twice and lose to Cleveland. That has them finishing at 4-3 before we went into the bye week. So, yeah, that's on me. That's what I think. You got
them finishing. You got them sweeping. So 5-0.
No, I'm gonna be realistic. I can see them. I see them finishing 3-2. So where they at 4? So they'll finish 7-11 or 7-10.
You 7-10. You have them 7-10. I had 7-10 was my prediction to beginning of the season. I was like, I just wanted to see progression from Justin in the offense. That's been very delayed, obviously. Looking at that, I'm sorry. I just don't think. That Cleveland defense is a problem. I think that Cleveland defense is better than the other defense. They don't blitz. They don't blitz.
But they don't have a QB. Rush. They don't have a QB right now. They just signed Joe Flacco, and he don't even he's going to start right now. DTR is hurt. Offense plays a role, man.
They get to the quarterback without blitzing, and I don't care. I like offense a lot. I think they're trending up. The best defensive player, pass rusher in the league, plays for the Cleveland Browns, and he's going to wreak havoc versus the Bears. I'm sorry, he just is going to.
As long as it doesn't show up like how Justin's fucking opening fucking game, which is against Cleveland, his first start. As long as it doesn't turn into that game, we're okay. That was embarrassing.
4 and crap, what are we right now? My other phone is acting up. The record 4-8.
We're 4-8.
So 3-2 gets you 7-10. You know what? I'm gonna out predict myself, and I'm gonna say we go. I'm gonna say we go 4-1. I'm gonna say we go 4-1 and finish.
So the only loss then is to Cleveland, and then we split Detroit, we split Green Bay, and beat Arizona and beat Atlanta.
I don't know. We got Detroit at home. At home, yeah. 4-1, 8-9. The scary part is that if we go 8-9 and the offense looks better, they don't fire Gassy.
No, I think no, dude. I think no matter what, I don't think Getsy's around next. Is there a strong possibility that Flus does stay next year? Yes. I don't think his seat is as hot. Dude, his heat isn't as hot as much people think, and that's a whole other discussion. We can go down the rabbit hole another time. But Getsy has to go. Getsy is not the answer, and he will never be the answer for this team. He's unimaginative, whatever the case might be. Yeah. He doesn't know how to utilize his players.
I don't care if Justin puts up 300 yards the rest of the season. Getsy has to go.
Fields can go freaking 12-1 touchdown to interception ratio, and he still got to fucking go, man.
Getsy has to go. He got to. 2 thumbs up for me. He got to go. I don't care what the numbers are.
Yeah, 100%.
He cannot be the OC next year. He cannot.
Yeah, no, I get you. Hey, for the record,
I will put up with Eberflus's awkward and ridiculous press conferences as long as Getsy is not the OC.
Yeah. I almost wore a Hawk shirt today too, so that would have been funny if we both would have been wearing a Hawk shirt. I was about to wear a red one, and then I see you had a black one. But
love my Hawks.
Heck yeah!
All right.
No, they'll get better, man. They're rebuilding. So
yeah. So this is what we'll do. So this is what I want to do. I want to say, don't forget to like and subscribe to the network, the Chicago Clubhouse Network, Chicago Clubhouse Podcast. Don't forget to watch that on Tuesdays. Don't forget to watch the shows that we have during the week. Monday is Fantasy Football with Crazy Commish. Don't forget to watch, obviously, the Tuesday show with Foulmouth C, JB, Frank the Tank, and T. Nick. They'll most likely have a guest again. They always have an outstanding guest. Who was that? Oh, wow. Villanova, the 1AA playoffs. Villanova's whooping somebody's ass. Excuse me. Don't forget to check in on Fridays with Easy Does It. Don't forget to check us out on Thursdays. I want to say thank you to Crazy Ace, who does a lot of work. I have to credit him. He does so much work on behind the scenes because he's not always on camera on the shows. Thank you so much, Crazy Ace, for your behind the scenes work. If you see any of the things online, he does the bulk of them as far as our shorts, our video postings, things that are downloaded for the different shows. He does a great work with that. We have other people who do work, but he does a bulk of it. I really commend you. I really appreciate it. We definitely needed a person of your skill set who provides that part in this world of live streaming and internet and all this other good stuff. Now it's like an old person because now I can't talk about technology. But thank you so much for coming on. I think we had a great show. Those who watched, thank you so much. I can't see the comments. Well, correct, I can, but they're not downloading properly. It looks like gibberish on my side because I don't know, my Wi-Fi is acting up or something.
Yeah. So the last comments was Diab. Was John Irving. He said Diab, and then he said excellent insight when you were talking about the draft picks. And then we've hit up pretty much everybody else. Oh, so and I'll do the shout outs here in a little bit.
John, my ex-coaches, he coached me in semi-pro, my entire semi-pro career, which was about 6 years, and he coached me some years in co-ed flag. Shout out to Tuskegee. He's a Tuskegee University alum, just like my mother, but she's old. But yeah, shout out to John Irv. Appreciate you tuning in. Like and subscribe. Anyone like to subscribe. Thank you to our producer tonight, the big man upstairs, T. Nick. Thank you, sir. I got a comment about it being too. So yeah. Once again, thank you, Crazy Ace. Thank you so much for coming on with me today. I really enjoyed our talk. I think we covered a lot of things, and we got to piggyback on some things from later in the week. Love your insight, and definitely looking forward to having you on again. Please like and subscribe. Please tune into all our shows. Thank you to Moore's Beer. Thank you to our main show again, Chicago Clubhouse podcast on Tuesday nights. And T. Nick, you got anything in closing?
I don't get no shout outs.
You smoke crack, don't you? You smoke crack, don't you?
Coach F was he's like, yeah, we're gonna get here.
I'm sorry. I don't have any shout outs because I can't see you. You got any shout outs? Crazy.
Hey, real quick, just thanks to everyone in the chat. Sharif, thanks for stopping by. Elijah, freaking easy. We had Amp. We missed you. Hopefully get better, bro. He was out with the flu.
Yes.
Frank, thank you so much.
Miss
Arnold over here from some of my followers from Crazy Ace TV. Troy as well. And then my other boy Tony, and then we hit up John. Again, hey, thank you everyone for freaking coming by, hanging out. Please make sure you guys check out like Coach already said, freaking the Chicago Clubhouse Network, all the different shows on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Chicago Clubhouse. You don't want to miss. We talk about not only just the Bears, but all things Chicago, whether it be food, whether it be about sports. Huh?
We have a bull show on the network.
And then we have a bull show as well now too, as well. Yep. So
yes, gotta put that.
So please go ahead, come stop by. Make sure you drop.
You got to decide whether you're a wolf or a sheep.
Hey, with that though, again, massive gratitude to all our sponsors, everyone on the show. Thank you guys so much. And with that, I will call it a wrap. And peace out.
This has been a Chicago Clubhouse Network production.
Man, much
we still live,
sir, man. I really enjoyed